Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just want to share a short word, well, more than a word, alhamdulillah, from Shaykh Al'Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. This right here is an excellent book. It's called The Gardens of Purification, and it's like, I think it's 8 short books. Yeah, it's basically what they refer to as treaties. It's like 8 short treaties by Shaykh Al'Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, and then they compiled it all into one book. And they speak about things of Zuhd, like being a Zahi, the path to asceticism, and then purifying the nafs, and then conditioning the heart, and symptoms and remedies, and beauty of patience, and pardoning and avoidance. But it's a beautiful book, man, and I want to read just a small little snippet of what he says about your desires, and how like with the Quran ayat where Allah Azza wa Jal says, have you seen the one that takes his desires as his Lord? And desires can fall under a lot of things. You know, some people desire money, some people desire attention, like some people that do anything for attention. Like attention make some people. Same thing with money. Desires fall under a lot of things. So look what Shaykh Al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah says about desires. I mean, this extremely beautiful to me, right? So in fact, whoever follows their desires when it comes to things like leadership, rank, being attached to beautiful images. So like beautiful images, this is a broad statement because it can refer to cars, jewelry, clothes, shoes, accessories, like for the females, purses, accessories, purses, sunglasses, belts, just things that people just starting to get into and they spend all their money on, expensive belts, this male and female, expensive belts, sunglasses, I'm seeing now, people wearing $2,000-$3,000. This your average Joe. We not talking about your famous millionaire type of people who really be getting a lot of that stuff for free as promotional wear, but like your average regular Joe type, cat out here, $2,000-$3,000 sunglasses and $60,000 Birkin bags and just all these things that's beautifying to the eye, that's attractive to people that's into that sort of thing. Rims on your cars, all that type of stuff. Even inside your home, just a bunch of different decor and decorations and different trinkets and all type of different type of arts and stuff all around your home. But so like it says, and being attached to beautiful images or amassing wealth, they find that throughout all of this, so as they seeking this leadership and this rank and want to be on top of their jobs or the leaders of specific organizations, sometimes even in the masjid, want to be the leader on the board and just different things, and wanting this different type of rank Even with, although some Muslims, but even with in the little street life, they won't rank in, amongst their friends, whatever, if they still in a gang or whatever they got going on in motorcycle clubs and things this is things I see, right? Motorcycle clubs won't rank in leadership. So look what it says though. So throughout chasing these things and trying to amass these things, even like being broke, but trying to look wealthy, trying to beautify that image, right? It says they find that throughout all of this, they start to develop anxiety, right? Trying to fit that image or keep up with that image, trying not to be found out. They start developing anxiety and grief and sadness, right? They just in grief because they know their reality, and that sadness is coming in, because they just always feeling like everything about to fall apart. I seen situations, man, where people ended up getting that stuff, Muslims, and like I've seen situations where, while Ramadan was going on, I seen people doing 20 rakats tarawih in the masjid, Jum'ah in the front row, praying all 5 times in the masjid. They didn't have anything, but they wanted these big houses and they wanted these cars and clothes and stuff. And wallahi, like they used to say stuff like, yeah, you see me, I'm in Tarawih, you see me. And then they would, when things wasn't happening for them, they would say things like, I done did all this praying, I done did all these Tarawih prayers for nothing, because they were still in a bad situation. Then boom, Allah made it happen for them. They ended up getting that good job, and then they went and got credit and, went and got some credit and got loans and started getting all these vehicles and motorcycles and houses. Well, a real big house, right? And then they starting to have to work 16 hours and, just working crazy hours, working so many days straight. They had to force them to take time off, doing unlimited overtime to pay for all this stuff. But the crazy part was they fell straight off deen. Salat's gone. Now keep in mind, we working at the same place. They stopped fasting, talking about it was too hot in there. Man, you can't tell me that. It's about 4 or 5 other Muslims in there fasting. Fell straight off deen and would be mad at themselves like, man, you know how hard it is for me to stay on deen? Started joining motorcycle clubs. So now they got to do extra so that they can get the fancy motorcycle. And then they got the motorcycle and started getting accessories, Harley Davidson belts, Harley Davidson shirts. Now they buying all these Harley Davidson chains and accessories and Harley Davidson book bags, the most expensive Harley Davidson stuff, right? Deen gone. All of it. No salat, no fasting. And I ain't gonna, sometimes I used to feel some type of way coming to work. And we fasting, man, and they eating. Eating good, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, it used to make me feel some type of way, although that's between them and their Lord, but then their excuse was, it's too hot. But it was a couple of times, where Ramadan wasn't technically in the sun. They could have fasted. But alhamdulillah, that's between them and Allah. But, and I just used to view them like they don't need Allah no more. When they needed Allah, they was in Taraweeh, all 20 rakats, all the whole month of Ramadan, all 5 prayers, right? in the masjid, in the front row. You know what I mean? They needed Allah. But then when they got all of that stuff, they didn't need Allah no more. It was about them. You see what I'm saying? But they would be, that anxiety and fear was there. Man, you know how hard it is for me to stay on deen, everything going, you know, working all those hours. Now, me and some other Muslims, we prayed at work. They didn't pray at work. They didn't pray no more. You know, excuse, I'm at work. Everything was because of work. I can't fast. It's too hot at work. I even used to say to them, well, you know, fast on the weekends. Fast on your days off. But they were working so many days straight. You know, wasn't praying at home. I mean, just, and this is from their own mouth. Everything is gone. Join motorcycle clubs, got the, you know, got all these accessories. Now this stuff is attracting women. You know, and now they falling off into other things. They didn't need Allah no more. But like I said, that anxiety was there. And then they would just be like, man, I done became a slave to this stuff. You know, 1 month, yeah, I got all these toys. You see the new toys, motorcycles, cars, trucks. You see my new toys, you know what I mean? Now, you know, they feel like they got to get protection for their house now and ride around with different forms of protections and weapons because, you know, they shining now. You know, they back out there. And now they moving and shaking and got to do other things, you know, because they in some serious debt. But that anxiety, so like exactly like what this talking about, man, that sadness, that anxiety and grief was just on them. So then they started turning to different things to feel better. A little sip here, you know, maybe some little females, different females, you know, to make them feel better. They just started falling into all these things to feel better. Deen gone. But turning to Allah just wasn't an option. Turning to Allah wasn't an option because they didn't need Allah no more. It was all about them. So this is dangerous. And I used to, you know, it made me think of some of the stories from the Salaf as-Salih when they had opportunities to get rich and get big houses and, you know, live that fancy life. They didn't want it because they felt like it was going to make them forget about Allah. So when you looking at situations where you literally seeing individuals, they done forgot about Allah, so Allah done forgot about them. And now they chasing all type of stuff, trying to amass this and get this look. You know, spending $8,000 on dogs and, you know, you ain't even supposed to be buying dogs. Spending 8 G's on dogs and, you know, may Allah be with them, may Allah be with me. But just seeing certain things like that with my own eyes where they didn't need Allah no more. And now they're a slave to their desires. Their desires have became their rob. And I seen all this, what it's talking about, the anxiety. They got to kiss butt at work because they need their job. They always on pins and needles trying to come up with 50 different hustles just to keep up this image. All these beautiful images and things that they done amassed. You know, the grief, the sadness, and then it also says distress and heartache that can't even be expressed. The things they feeling in their heart, the pain, they can't even express it. You know, little female at home, and now they feeling like they having problems out of them. I'm out here breaking my back to provide this life, and, you know, just different type of distress and heartaches and anxieties and sadness just really sitting in on them, right? So, like I said, distress and heartache that cannot be expressed. Perhaps their heart refuses to leave the desires. This is why they having this heartache. Their heart refuses to leave the desires, and they cannot achieve what makes them happy. Because now they done did all this and chased all this stuff, and they not truly happy. Wallahi, some of these same individuals I know in these situations used to look at me and say to me, Wallahi, man, I wish I had the type of peace that you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, wallahi, brothers coming up to me like, man, why you smiling? Like, why you always happy? You know, angry. Why you always happy, man? You know, because I don't have that dunya look. You know, I drive around in a hoopty. You know what I'm saying? I be walking around in, you know, work clothes, thobes, pants all above my ankles and all that type of stuff. I look like a sore thumb. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's attract the wrong type of females, you don't see it on me. I ain't gonna have on the juries. I ain't gonna have on the fresh this and fresh that. The wrong type of companions, you know, the wrong type of homeboys who are around you, looking at you as attached to a dollar. Put me on. How can I get on all that? You know, or the people who had the wrong eyes on you, where you feel like you gotta have a weapon around your own guys because they might try to take from you. You know, they would ask, man, how you got the type of peace that you have? Like, I want that. To where they would be mad at me sometimes. And you know, I thank Allah, man, like, I ain't trying to catch nobody eye, man. All those beautiful images and all that type of stuff. You know, alhamdulillah, to each their own. I'm not knocking it. But just reading where Shaykh Al'Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, we talking about, just think of how long ago it was when he was alive. May Allah have mercy on him and bless him and raise him in the ranks, amongst the ranks. But he's speaking about this back then. Just imagine how bad it is now. But look what it says, though. Perhaps their heart can't leave that which they desires. Their heart attached to it. And it's causing all these problems, all these arguments. And they just chasing it and chasing it and chasing it. To the point where your deen is gone. Where your deen is gone. Subhanallah Adeen, right? So they can't achieve what really makes them happy. They too focused on trying to look happy. Bad relationships, but look like the best thing since sliced bread on social media or in public. Hate each other almost. Nothing but a bunch of fighting and arguing over money and trinkets and where my watch. You know what I'm saying? And Dean just gone. Even, you know, renting out whole hotels for birthday parties. Little kid birthday parties turning into extravaganzas. You Muslim. Trying to have a sweet 16 for a 10-year-old. All type of just... But it's driving them insane, man. So look what it says, though. Rather, they are always in a state of fear. Scared of losing it all. Scared of losing the job. Because keep in mind, they're in debt. This stuff isn't paid for. And then you know once you start getting those loans and you start playing with that riba, and then you getting hit with late fees. You know, I done seen individuals get like $100 and something $1,000 house, right? And work their butt off and do all type of scamming and conning other Muslims and all that to make payments and late fees, and done spend about $80,000 on this house with down payment. Out of the $80,000, at least $10,000 of it is late fees. Another, what we'll say about $5,000 in late fees, $10,000 in interest, and then lose the house anyway. Same with cars. Get the cars repossessed anyway. And that fear of losing it, trying to keep up with it, trying to keep that image up. So look what it says, right? So they always in that state of fear and sadness. If they seeking what they desires, then they become depressed and suffer. And they suffering before they attain it. So when they don't have it and they ain't got it, they depressed. They feel like they suffering while they trying to obtain these things. And it ain't nothing but glitters and golds. Fool's gold. Some they chasing that they don't even need, and they not focused on Allah. Otherwise, yeah, Allah isn't sufficient. Because once they get those things, Allah don't matter. I don't need Allah no more. I did this, right? And when they get it, and when they attain it, they fearful at being removed and being parted from it. They fearful of losing it. Right? And it says the friends of Allah, they are not fearful, nor do they grieve. So boom, he giving that jewel right there to say, man, it's a strong possibility you're not a friend of Allah. Right? So if this one or other than them experience the sweetness of faithfulness, right? Experience the sweetness of faithfulness to Allah and worship Allah and the delight of remembering Allah and praising Allah and understanding Allah's books and submit their faith to Allah and perform good deeds such that their actions in righteousness are done for Allah's face sincerely, then truly they find happiness, pleasure, and joy greater than what is felt by the supplicant who is reliant on Allah, and by their supplication and reliance they obtain what benefits them in the worldly life. Subhanallah Azim. Or averts from them something that's harmful. So Allah's going to give you what benefits you and keep you away from something that's going to harm you. Things that's going to lead to the hellfire, right? And there is nothing of greater avail to the heart than tawheed and sincerity of Allah's religion and deen, nor anything more harmful than associating partners with Allah. Because keep in mind, you have associated a partner with Allah because your desires has become your Lord. And this is why that category of Tawheed, Rububiyyah, Lordship, it's important for individuals to learn that and understand that so that they have a very vast concept of what lordship is, and when they fallen into a form of shirk. Because keep in mind, when you had none of that, you needed Allah. You doing 20 rakats every night of Ramadan in the masjid. Talking about you see me, I'm in the front row. Then when you got all of it, you worshiping Allah for those things. So really you worshiping your desires because you doing all this for those things. Then when you got it, I did this. I made this happen. I don't need Allah no more. Praying disappeared. Fasting disappeared. Now they back out there in the dunya, man. With running around with the najis. You know what I mean? Back in the club with the najis. You know what I'm saying? Around. You know, we don't need to get into that. And you know, if anybody fall into that category, I don't know who watched this show. Sometimes I see, people can be speaking about certain things that may apply to other people. That don't mean a person is talking about you. They just talking about something that applies to you, but they don't know it. You see what I'm saying? That may be Allah trying to tell you something. But man, that chasing all that stuff, man, them images, like you really have to think about it. And like the beauty of it when you do tadabbur and reflect on what they talking about. Who you trying to impress? Who you trying to impress? Because the more you look at it, you could be falling into riyah. You really just showing off. Possibly. You know what I'm saying? Not showing off in a religion where, you know, Some of it could have been, I'm in Taraweeh, 20 Rakas, you see me. You trying to be seen? Like, I'm in the front rows, you see me. But everything, all that deen disappeared once you started getting a taste of all that you was worshiping Allah for. Was you doing 20 rakas of Taraweeh every night for Ramadan for Jannah? Or was you doing it because you wanted the big house and the cars and the motorcycles, the toys, excuse my language, but the big booty girls that come with it, as how they speak. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to dress her up. You can't be running around in designer and she not. You know what I'm saying? Spending $8,000 on dogs when you ain't even supposed to purchase dogs. Man, that's why, man, when Allah, man, people understand, man, riba, where Allah said he go to war against the ones that indulge in that stuff. You fighting a battle that you can't even win. You can't defeat Allah. And look what's going on with you. The stress, blood pressure up, cat on blood pressure medications and all type of stuff, man. Trying to match that stuff. So, closing out. So it says, so if they discover the reality of sincerity, the actualization of which is you alone do we worship. When you focus your worship on Allah alone, you should have been doing that type of stuff, man. That type of ibadah for Jannah, not dunya, right? With the reality of reliance, the actuality of which is you alone do we ask for help. Once you got everything you needed, you didn't need Allah no more. But when that ibadah come back, is when you starting to feel like you're about to lose it, or somebody gets sick, you gonna know Allah again. Allah, please don't let this happen. Allah, please give me this so that I can maintain all this dunya. And then calling it Allah's risk, right? Then this is beyond what everyone feels who has not found this, and Allah knows best. And I'm telling you, you go find people, especially the kuffar, that's out here chasing degrees and chasing these statuses. I bet you they have anxiety problems. I bet you they have forms of depression. The only time that they feel happiness is when they bigging themselves up, when they telling themselves how great they are. But deep down in their heart disagrees with it. You know what I'm saying? That fear of falling off, their heart don't agree with it. That's why they had those depressions. That's why they had that anxiety. That's why they had those distresses and those sadness. They don't really be happy people. They ain't got time to be happy. They only got time to chase that dollar, man, and chase that dunya, to climb up out of that debt. They done became a slave to their desires, man. So when it boils down to it and you really look at it, we have to ask ourselves, who exactly are we trying to impress? Not saying that people can't have nice things. Not saying that at all. Do your thing, you know what I'm saying? But don't make 10 and spend 50. You get it? I done made $10,000, but I done already spent 50. Now to pay off that 50, I'm gonna spend 65. I'm gonna spend 65,000 to pay off that 50, and that's if I don't have any late fees. Throw some late fees in, I'm finna spend 70,000 just to pay off that 50 when I've only made 10. Just the pressures of that, and keep on chasing just to keep that up. To impress who? To impress who? Me? I would rather make 10 and spend 2 and give away 1. So out of the 3 that comes from up out of me, I done spent 2. I done spent 3. But I done spent 2 on me and what my needs, and I done gave away 1 to some poor, to some needy, any Muslims that I see in a certain type of city. That's just what I would rather do. It don't matter if my appearance and I ain't driving a fresh enough car or pushing these new toys, or I ain't got all this lavish stuff all around my house or whatever, and that don't attract the type of female, then we wasn't meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Certain type of women is for certain type of men. Allah tell us that in the Quran. So sometimes you end up with what you was meant for. And then if it's a bad situation, but you have some type of desire that's attached to what y'all may have, the status it may look like y'all got in the community or in the city you in, now you attached to a bad situation for the look of it or the desires of it. Can you let it go for the sake of Allah? I know I would. Man, Allah never tested me with that, but I've done it. Alright, cool. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? How they do it? Hey, on everything. But what's with Allah is better. So anything I said that was incorrect, was a mistake, mistakes I made came from myself and the shaitan. Anything I said that was correct and accurate came from Allah Azza wa Jalla al-Muqtadir wal-Alim wal-Basir. But beautiful book. I'm about halfway through it, more than halfway through it. And Tahir Wyatt, he turned me on to this, not in person, but I said he did a class on the 5th book in this one. Like I said, it's 8 small books. So one is called The Concise Legacy, and he did a class on it, and I sat through the class with him on this one, man, and we did the 5th book. Which you could just buy the 5th book, a small one, but I went ahead and bought this one with all the 8 books. And I'm going to be honest with you, man, this book made me shed tears a couple of times. Especially like during his class. I don't know if it was the way he was breaking it down, but this book made me shed tears a couple of times. Alhamdulillah. Gardens of Purification. Shaykh Al'Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. And then you get to see the wisdom he had, man, the firasa, the insight, and his clear level of thinking when it came to Islamic sciences, man. The man he was like that. Just the way he broke that down, and you know, like I said, I don't be looking down on people, but everything is a sign from Allah. And I look and I analyze myself, and I look at paths that people take before I take it. You know what I'm saying? And I thank Allah that I'm not out there dunya chasing, where I'm working hundreds of hours just so that I can have this house and all this other stuff for people to look at. You know what I'm saying? When other people who do the same thing in their house that I do, eat, sleep, you know, shower, do laundry. They do the same stuff in their house that I do. You know what I'm saying? But alhamdulillah, man. Not saying nobody should have not you know, you shouldn't have nice things. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, don't make 10 and spend 50. You see what I'm saying? And don't chase it because you're trying to please other people. Try to please Allah. Make all your decisions about pleasing Allah, and then the things that comes with pleasing Allah. You know, we got certain desires, but there's permissible ways of fulfilling those desires. All this stuff, man, bringing people a lot of sadness. Like, you could look at some people, man, who be millionaires and they get to losing that stuff. They getting to the point now where they killing themselves and their whole family. Killing some women and men. Women killing the kids and then killing themselves, or just killing the kids and going to jail. The husband killing the wife, killing all the kids. I done seen incidents, within the past months, man, where people done killed 5 family members and themselves. Done killed their wife, done killed 4 kids, and then killed themselves. Teenagers all the way down to little kids, because they done lost money in the stock. They lost their job, and now they about to lose their house and materials because they in debt. They don't own none of it. So they kill themselves, the family, everybody, man. And I see the wisdom in that right there, what it's saying, man. Shaykh Al'Islam, you just got to think about how long ago he was on this earth talking about this type of stuff back then. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.